You're tuned into the Grant Business Show with Rodney Walker.
Well, hello and welcome to the Grant Business Show. I'm your host, Rodney Walker. I'm happy that you're here. I've got a great show for you today. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you information about my hopes for you and this show. I'm also going to be sharing with you what you can expect from the show. And I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit more information about some of the things that are coming down the pipeline. So as we think about this whole grant writing thing, this whole grant business, our focus is on the business side of things. And maybe you are a current business owner of a grant business, or maybe you are hoping to do a grant business in the future and you're maybe tuning in just to kind of get your feet wet to see if this is something you really want to do. Well, welcome, because you're in the right place. And this show is especially designed to help you to figure that out and then to take some of the information I'm going to be sharing with you and to utilize it for your advantage so that you can grow a successful grant business. Now, I started doing my first grant business back in 2006. Now, I know I said my first as if I had many, but I have different aspects of a grant business, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that as time continues and as we go through some of the various episodes. But I started back in 2006 at the recommendation of one of my professors who saw that I had a knack for this whole grant thing, and I wasn't thinking about doing a business. I was just trying to get my nonprofit some money. And here I am years later doing this. Now, I do this because I love it. Yes, I actually love it. I love getting a chance to come alongside of people and helping them to get funded. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to go in and do this as a business. There was another reason. It was also out of necessity. Now, I'll tell you that story sometime in the future as well. But I want you to know that this is a wonderful industry to be in. And one of the reasons why this show has been created is because I've seen it done well and I've seen it not done well. I've actually done it well and I've also not done it well. And there was a lot of things that I was trying to figure out that I just didn't know on the early onset. And so I'm hoping that as you listen to the show, that some of those pitfalls and some of those mistakes that I made early on, that you don't have to make those. So that's one of my hopes for the show, is that you will not make some of the same mistakes that I made early on. Now, what were some of those mistakes? Let me tell you, because there's a long list. Some of the mistakes that I made early on was not knowing how to properly price myself. So I underpriced myself in some cases. Also, another big mistake was I didn't know how to handle clients. I was doing all the things that I should not have been doing in trying to work with the client. In fact, early on when I first started out, the clients had me almost as if I were a glorified worker. Yes. And I had to change that, because a lot of grant professionals are doing that still to this day. They are treated as if they are just a glorified contracted staff member. Yep, I said it. A glorified contracted grant member. So we don't want to be a staff member, quasi staff member, because that's not what we are. We are grant professionals that help to bring in the money. We are the money people. And we've got to carry ourselves and treat ourselves as such, and not lower our value and our worth of what we bring to the table. And I'm hoping that as we do the show, that you will hear that truth come from me, and that it will hopefully nudge you in the right direction so that you won't just carry yourself in some of those ways that I was carrying myself early on, so that you can not make that mistake. Now, there are some other mistakes. I won't even get into the whole marketing mistakes. Oh my God. Not knowing how to market. That's something that a lot of grant professionals don't know how to do well. In fact, they fear it. And it's just something that they suck at. Now, they know how to do the grant writing. They know how to do the research. But marketing their services, clueless. And so you've got to learn that, and I don't want you to make that mistake. So you can expect me to be talking about marketing on the show. This show will be discussing marketing, and let me share with you another colossal mistake. Another colossal mistake? Not knowing how to close the deal, not knowing how to sell. In fact, here's a question for you. Mr. Grant Professional or Mrs. Grant Professional, when was the last time you took a sales training? Yep. If never just rolled off your lips, don't feel alone, because I was in that same boat when I first started out. And most grant professionals are as well. They know all the stuff about writing the grant, researching the funder. Yeah, those things are quite important. But if you are a grant business owner and you don't know how to market, and you don't know how to close the deal, you don't know how to sell, you're going to go hungry. And I don't want you hungry, my friend. So this show, my hopes is that you will learn those things. I'm going to point them out to you. I'm going to point out resources that you can go and read. I'm going to be sharing some information firsthand myself. I'm going to be sharing with you some case studies of others. And hopefully you will grow from those experiences and become the better because of it. So the hope that I have for you with this show is that you will be able to turn things around, and each and every week when we come together, that one thing will be said that will spur you, nudge you, and push you in the right direction. Another thing you can expect is for me to be honest with you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to come with it and share with you the real deal. So if that sounds like something that you're game for, I want to encourage you to subscribe. Yeah, just go ahead and subscribe right now. And if you haven't, know that we have other shows that address different things. So if you're more into learning about the grant writing thing, we have a show for that as well. Go over to grantwritingtoday.com and you'll get a chance to hear funders and interviews and other things. But this show is especially for those of you who are trying to do business. And so if you're interested in that, go ahead and subscribe. And I look forward to connecting with you real soon. And until then, my friend, remember, be brave, be bold, be brilliant, and take charge. I'll see you next time, my friend.